Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Guiding Lights. I am Alexis Nelson, and you are joining us today on our Guiding Lights special. We are so glad that you have tuned in today. Those who are not familiar with what we do, we make sure that we bring awareness to everyone about the exceptional community. We are so excited because we have a very special guest on. But before we get started, I want to make sure that you like and share. We create awareness for not only exceptional communities, but all communities. And we want to make sure that this word gets out to everyone. Those who have been following Guiding Lights know that we bring people from different backgrounds to share their journeys because there's strength in journeys, there's strength in stories, and we want to make sure that everyone's journey is heard because someone out there is listening and this is going to encourage and uplift someone. So make sure you take notes today. Please make sure you do. And don't forget to like and share. We also want to tell you about our upcoming walk, which will be May 18th at Hidden Lake at 7 a.m. It is our Don't Stare, Just Care Exceptional Ability Walk. We are looking so forward to this. We are excited. You can register today. You can either go to our Best Facebook page or you can go to bestsupport.org to register for that event. Make sure you come and celebrate and walk with us as we celebrate diversity, inclusiveness, and we celebrate our exceptional community. So now that we got all that out the way, I would like to introduce to you Miss Emma. She is going to share her journey with you and tell us about some things to help when it comes to advocacy because we know advocacy is something that we must do in our community. And I have some questions for her, but I want her just to tell us a little bit about who she is and her journey and her daughter. And we will get into this show and start asking the questions that you all need to hear.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Emma Powell Hines, and I am a registered nurse. And when I had my daughter, I had her at a late age, like 38, and she was born when I turned 39. Didn't know anything was going on with her until she turned the age of 3. So at that point, it really just not put a damper on my life, but it definitely changed how I dealt with my child versus my first child. So in the beginning, everything was fine. Um, she was developing well. She was doing everything she was supposed to do. And then all of a sudden, at 3 years old, she had a medical emergency. So at that point, no one knew what was going on, what caused it. I did like thousands of dollars out of my own pocket for genetic testing and just trying to find out what caused my daughter to develop the illness that she has. So as things progressed, um, it really got really bad because she wasn't learning like she was. She wasn't speaking like she was supposed to be. And then all of a sudden, she had a burst of behaviors. And when those behaviors started, that's when it changed the dynamics of how I had to, support her and to support myself because it was new to me. So countless days and months and years of going back and forth to the doctor, trying to find out what's going on with her. I finally just said, God's will. I was trying to do it scientifically, trying to do it my way. And then I just had to just let it go. And then once I was able to give it to Him, my daughter has been winning ever since. Even though I had to use outsources, which gave me a better insight about the IEP. Because, I used to get them, read them over. It's like, okay, sign them. But then I started talking to individuals. I started, researching and going to these meetings in depth, like not just letting them send the IEP home and reading over, like, okay, that's about what she does. But I seen some progression in myself. So, but it didn't reflect on the IEP. So when I started using this one source, it was called InSource, I believe that. I think that's still the same, the name of it. it changed my whole insight about the IEP. I would get it and sign it. Now I would get it. You have 10 days to say you agree or do not agree, which I didn't know that in the beginning. So I would just read over for like 7 days in depth. I had my sister reading because she's an educator, and my other sister, she's an educator. And they had, I don't know if you ever pay attention to your IEP for your child. It says, they all kept putting 80% for my daughter. I'm like, she's not 80%. But I kept going back and forth fighting with them about the 80%. So I was like, no, if you saying she's counting 1 to 20 and she's supposed to be counting 1 to 50, that's not 80% to me. So I had to like, I mean, pretty much like constantly go back and forth with the IEP because every time they give it to me, I give it back like, no, I disagree. This is the reason why. So finally, they was like, I guess just give in to this parent. So I had to bring her IEP down to 66.6. So then that way I was able to see her growth. Because you have it at 80%, you don't really see the growth of your child. And I don't know if that really makes sense to individuals that when they look at the IEP, but the next time you look at it, pay attention to that percentage because that's where your child is actually supposed to be or working toward. But if they're not working toward that, it's hard to see. You see it, but they don't see it, because they have to say they have to take her knowledge from home and in school. Because when they were saying that she wasn't doing certain things, I was like, but she does it every day at home. Why is she not doing it at school? So that's when I really, like I said, started getting involved in her IEP. And like I said, my daughter is definitely winning. Even though I had a lot of concerns to where I had to address them through the chain of command, and it got it done. Because if it's not, I think I would see my daughter being suppressed with her environment, her knowledge, her awareness, if I hadn't stepped in as a parent. So,
That's wonderful because that was my next question. Like some of the challenges that many of the parents face when it comes to advocating for their exceptional child, because many parents don't know, and you brought up a source called InSource. There are many people out there that do not even utilize that because they don't know. And it's not something that the schools say, hey, we have this,
right.
in source. And if you need,
No.
that's not always, I guess that's not their focus. Let me say that. But that's not something that's spoken about in the schools. And many times parents do. I remember when I first got the IEP, it was like overwhelming
Mm-hmm.
because I was just like, so at that time, I was like, so you saying she can't do nothing? Like absolutely nothing? Like zilch? Or is that what you And it was discouraging, just to be honest. It was like, because I know that she can do something because
Right.
I know what she's doing here at home. And so I didn't go through that IEP like you were saying, which now, you know, I look at things completely different because I had to go up there and like, no, don't agree. Oh no, they're not. No, no, don't agree. And so I'm glad you said that because many times we get those IEPs and we just sign them because it's too much. You're like, I'm not about to go through all this. I'm not trying to read this, and you just put all your trust in what they say, and you are saying no, no, no. You have more than a day just to look at your IEP. And that's another thing I don't think people are aware of.
And then, once you write your rebuttal the first time, you have those 10 days. And you give it back to them on the seventh day, they have 10 days to respond back to you. And those days can go back and forth until you get a resolution. If you don't, we'll be going back and forth with those 10 days. But it's 10 calendar days, not business days, calendar days. So if you want to just write no and say something one time, at least give you more time. If you want to look over a little bit further, you'll still have that time when they do their rebuttal. You still have those 10 days. Not 10 days like the remainder of your first 10 days, but it starts all over again. And that's the good thing about that.
That's really good to know out there. If you are listening, please make sure you're taking notes because this is something that is going to help you and your child. And you also said something else. You said that you went to other people to also read it that you trusted to go through it. So you just didn't do it. You involved. It was like a collaborative effort. And I know sometimes in our communities we are very private. We don't want anybody, just and protective. And it's not because we, trying to, shield everybody out all the time. It's just that sometimes in this journey you deal with different adversities and barriers where you always have to fight. You always have to, and
Right.
I'm not saying physically fight, but you have to
Right.
really advocate for your child. So yeah, I'm very careful of who, I'm talking to or who I let in, into my world when it comes to my child. So it's good to see though that you have people, your tribe that you can go to that can kind of go over those things too, that had the skill set. Like you said, you also said now this is an educator. This is,
Hmm.
these are
Right.
people that not just my homegirls are like, hey, yeah, okay, that's great. No, people who are really able to add value to it. So you can better be equipped when you go before the people to advocate on the behalf of your child. Now, for parents to navigate through the educational system, I really want you to talk about that too, because I know there were many times I would come up to the school because I was like the pop-up parent,
Hmm.
and I was a here she come kind of parent, but it was like whatever, yes, here I come because I wouldn't always be called for certain things. And this is
Hmm.
not a bash in the school system
Right.
because every school is not the same. But I'm
Right.
just saying this particular instance, I just happened to come up there and my child is walking down the hallway to the nurse's office. And I'm thinking, why don't I still don't have a phone call? Well, no, nobody called me. I just happened to come up there and see. And, that was a concern for me because I was like, well, what else is going on that no one is calling me about? And so, one thing I always tell parents, you have to be present. And I know we all
Hmm.
have lives. I know we are busy. I know we got our jobs and what have you. But when you have an exceptional child, you have to be exceptionally extra because if you're not present, sometimes people do what they do.
Right.
And really encouraging that. Can you speak to how important it is for the parent to really be involved, not just with the IEP, but like really present when it comes to this educational journey with your children?
Yes, because even though like they have the special ability children not like separated, but they like on a separate floor or separate wing of the school, they still are supposed to have parent conference with the teacher. But you never see them send out saying, okay, this person, Kate can come on this day, or Tony can come on that day. So I had to ask him like, why am I not having a teacher parent conference? She's a part of the educational system. She's bringing the funds in for this school, the majority of the funds. The reason why you have computers, the reason why you have laptops is because of the special ability children, because they get the bulk of the funds when it comes to the school, because the other kids are supposed to be funded by their parents, but the state funds the special ability children. So when I come there, she's supposed to have her headsets, her iPad, everything, and I should not be, giving the school these type of equipment and stuff like that. So why don't she have it? But they was giving it to the general education kids. So I found out that, and I'm like, no, because you got to think all kids, whatever level of education or ability they have, they know about electronics, and they don't like to share. So when I come there and I'm asking her, where's your laptop? Where's your here? Oh, well, they gave no. Oh no, that's not an option. You know. So I used to be a pop up parent, but they were. When I came up there, I wanted results. I wanted answers. Because at one particular time they placed my daughter in Hose. So I found out that's the last result through the state of Indiana. But when they do this, they're supposed to chart, send your child to the doctor, to the nurse, chart, and then give you that form within 24 hours. I didn't know that. They were placing um, children in holes, and parents were not being notified. Yes, because they tell you it's in the handbook, and if you read it, it does say that they can result to that, but that's the last result. But they're supposed to document, call you, give you, send it to the nurse, and then send the form home. So, and I'm hoping no child is being done like this because they really are being strict on being in therapeutic holes because you have to be certified, CPR, everything. It's just not you just grab a person, a child, and put them against your body and hold them, trying to calm them down. That has to be the last result because a lot of medical things can occur when you do stuff like that. It's like giving CPR. If you don't do it correctly, you can fracture the ribs. So imagine a person giving 2 or 3 person holds, discolate the arm, dislocate the arms, puncture the ribs, sprain the neck. It's all those medical things that can happen when you give a person, put a child in a hold.
Hmm. Wow, and that's serious. That's really serious. One thing that I said, you know what, it would be so nice. I know that some of the classes are mixed with different abilities, and there are some degrees, some may be need more care than others.
No.
Um, but in that, the support that's given to the teachers and the teachers' aides, are we continuing to train? Are we because the turnover rate in the classroom for our exceptional ability kids is very high. They don't stay long. Some of the teachers they leave. I and it could be overwhelming. So especially if you have a new teacher that just graduated,
Right.
that's not familiar with that. So supporting in ways where we are also educating the providers that's caring for the kids and that notification, I bet you a lot of people don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to
Right.
document within 24 hours.
Yes.
And please call me. Please, please and thank you.
Right.
And it's even harder for nonverbal children because they think that
Exactly.
they can't say it, but they do still communicate.
Exactly.
So how did you empower your daughter? How did you get her to like mom, some name, some mom, what did you do to help her, empower her to be able to advocate for herself even when you weren't there?
The majority of the time, I did a lot of pop ups, like I said. Um, I was very in tune in like what her schedule was, what they were doing for her, what class she was going to. I always ask questions, and I think the questions gave me that leverage. Like, okay, we better do what we need to do because this one right here not gonna rest. So
Mhm.
when I kept giving them that aggressive attention when it came to my daughter, then it seems like I wasn't having many incidents because she was like hyper, right? Not like hyper, like um, she wanted to be engaged. She likes socializing. She likes to talk to people. That's just her personality. So when you try to suppress her to that, she's going to give you that adverse reaction. That's going to be to lash out, run away from the class that they had her in because she didn't want to be there. She wanted to be around the other children.
Mhm.
So when
Mhm.
I start doing those activities and start giving my rebuttal about it, because this is what when she leaves there, she's free. She gets to do whatever she wants to do. She's not disrespectful. She's not having any behaviors. So why is she having the behaviors at school? Because she was like pretty much detained.
Mhm.
So they start letting her go to general classes, and they
Mhm.
seen a total difference in her personality, her maturity, from
Mhm.
when you had her suppressed in a class where there's no socialization.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that's what made her grow and thrive.
That's something because I like how you have different perspectives when it comes to, okay, so if this is not happening here, let's assess what's really going on because this is not the same person when she's here. And that is something that we have to continue to do. Like, don't just say okay, you don't just say, oh yeah, I know she got cutting up. No, really assess what's going on because, and I hope again, you all are out here picking up what she putting down because this is something, things like this make a huge difference. A huge difference. I know when my daughter was in school, your daughter would meet my daughter before she got on that bus, and she would come down and give her a hug, and they would be trying to stop her. They would try
See,
to.
that's
They
that's
would try to
that's
stop her, and
crazy.
she did not. She
Right,
was like, "I'm gonna get her a hug." This was what she
right,
did. When she saw this, what
right,
she did. And after she did that, then she went right back on and did what she needed to
right.
do. And I
But you
didn't
see,
say
when
nothing
you try, right, but then when you try to stop that, that's a human behavioral, not in a bad way, and then it causes chaos. Just let it
right.
happen, and then move on about your day.
Right. And she was, it wasn't like she was being this is what she did. When she saw
Right,
her, she would get, and they would be there, they hug, and then she would go and get back doing what
right,
she was doing. And I never said anything because I didn't see anything wrong with it. But they,
right,
I guess when you're not educated about
mhm,
the child and you know, their way of socializing and communicating, then you don't have the proper way of handling things. And that's one thing we can't have in the community is being
mhm.
mishandled, because
Yes,
it's too many kids that are being mishandled. And I'm not always saying physically, it could be educationally,
mhm,
emotionally, all of that. It's just we have to educate people more. And it seems to me that that's what you was doing. So rather they, didn't want to see you coming, and that was
right,
good. And another thing that I want to pull out from what you said is you said, I ask questions. Now that is powerful. You ask questions. You're not just like, okay. Like, and
right,
sometimes we don't do that. We believe we want to trust the people that are caring for our children and adults when they're not in our present. And that's nice, but everybody's not going to um handle or treat your child in the way that you feel they need to be treated. And so that was really good. Ask questions, people. If you're listening out there, ask
and then
questions.
another thing, Alexis, I did, I requested she have a one-on-one, and I
Mhm.
made sure that one-on-one was her one-on-one, because sometimes they try to add them to everyone, and they're not supposed to. Once you have placed it in your IEP that that person or that child has to have a one-on-one, that's their one-on-one. And
Mm,
they'll try to sway you. They'll say, well, she don't really need it. I said, but I want it there. I want to stay there. So when something erupts, don't tell me that her one-on-one wasn't around to assist her.
right, right.
So,
That's good. And see, you don't even think stuff when you say I have a one-on-one, I'm thinking that person is gonna be with my child. Period. That's
mm-hmm,
it. Like that's it. So the explanation of what you think, and no disrespect, but
mm-hmm,
it really doesn't matter what you think. This is what is supposed to be. This is an IEP.
right,
Adhere to the IEP. And again, when you're not knowledgeable of your rights, it's very difficult for you to advocate when you don't know. And if you don't know, go seek help.
right,
Ask somebody. There's people that can help you with that. You talked about technology earlier, and when you was telling that story about the iPad, I promise
mm-hmm,
I had a similar situation. I said I'm gonna get on this PTO or whatever this thing they had, because I said I'm gonna
mm-hmm,
see what's going on in this school. Um, and I knew that the school received a lot of iPads,
mm-hmm,
but my daughter class didn't have them. And I was puzzled. I said, now, everybody else has these iPads, but why isn't that this class does not have iPads? I said, this is unacceptable. So when I went to the teacher was like, oh, I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know. I'm
mm-hmm.
like,
Of course you
okay.
did.
I said, okay, all right, okay, that's okay. I said, that's okay. Maybe you don't know. So let me go to the principal. So I went to the principal I said, hey, I know we have iPads. We received a whole lot of them, but my daughter class does not have any. And then everyone was, "Oh, I didn't know.
Mm-hmm,
I didn't know." But how didn't you know? Because I
mm-hmm,
know that you all distributed to the different classes and to the different, so how didn't you know? And so I said, well, I'm assuming by tomorrow when I come back up here that her class will have the, iPads.
right,
And oh, yes, yes, yes. But I'm like, why? We shouldn't have to even go there. I shouldn't have to go there,
Mhm.
but I did. And another thing, even the field trips they were taking the children on.
Mhm.
Okay, you have people with different abilities. If you have
Mhm.
people with sensory issues, why are you taking them to a very, very loud play?
Mhm.
I need us to think about those things. So it's just a lot of areas where you can advocate for your kids while they're in school and helping other parents understand their rights, because I'm telling you, it's a many of them that don't. And a
Right.
lot of our kids are being, missing out on some things because of that. So I'm glad that you are talking about that. So you done gave us a heads up about the IEP, that you do have time to look over that IEP. By law, it's you have to. And then also that if you don't agree with it, you don't have to sign it.
Right.
Like sometimes they think like this is from the professionals, you have to sign it because I
Right.
know. And knowing that, hey, something doesn't sit right with me. Can you fix that, change that, do whatever you need to do? That's empowering, not just for the child, but for the parent. Because again, this journey is with ups and downs. I'd say it's like a roller coaster sometimes,
Right.
and all the support and all the things we need it. We really
And then
do.
and then also what about the IEP? Sometimes I had a problem with the school because they were emailing me the IEP because I guess they want me to come to the school to get it. But I didn't authorize them to email it. So, I had to just write up something and send it down to the state of Indiana. I didn't get the rights to email my daughter's IEP to me. Then they asked him, "Well, why are you emailing?" Well, we just gave it to her, but did she give you permission? I have to give you permission to send my daughter's information electronically.
Mm,
So you have to be aware of that too, because when they don't want to, have that face to face, or they don't want to hand give it to you, they'll try to email it. Some parents don't think about that, but I just sometimes things get lost in emails, or you send it to the wrong address, which I've had that issue with my daughter's IEP. They said I sent it to her. I said, "Ma'am, you didn't send me anything. I don't have to sit there and not be truthful. If you send it to me, send it to me." So they
mm,
printed out the face sheet where they sent it to. It's not my email. You
oh,
missed the letter in my email. So
mm.
my daughter's IEP went somewhere else, so they had to get wrote up for that because I didn't authorize them to email it, and then they emailed it to someone else.
Wow. And see, again, no one thinks of that. They're like, oh, they're just trying to email it.
Mhm.
So for
Mm.
convenience, you don't think of that.
Yeah, it has to be
Um,
on file.
hmm and that's good to know. I know because my daughter is not in public school, I had to go back and forth with that too to get an updated one. And they told me some things that weren't true, and we got that corrected. But like I said, how many other parents have to experience that? Again, we have enough. We have to advocate, we have to fight all the time until we get what we need. And that's the
Right.
thing, parents out there, you listening, be encouraged, because even when those times seem like it's overwhelming or
Hmm.
overstimulating, don't quit. Find somebody else. If you don't know what to do, reach out. She mentioned
Right.
InSource. That was a really good resource. They will come in, they will advocate, and they will break that law down to you
Hmm.
if you need to
And they
know.
go- and they go to the IEP meetings with you also.
And that's good. That's good. I know now that the school system of Maryville is no longer, NISAC is no longer in the building starting pretty soon.
Oh wow,
So,
really?
hmm so Maryville is having their own, special education department. And
Oh,
so
okay.
that's going to be something new, for those who are familiar with NISAC and
Hmm.
dealing with,
Yeah, I
everyone.
very much so.
Yeah. So we,
I
we,
probably
we,
got a plaque up there.
yeah, but hey, that's what we need though. We need people that look, because had you not, would she be
Mhm.
where she is now?
Not at all. I promise you. She is so outgoing. She really is.
And that's good. And I'm telling you, I was talking to my husband. He was like, "Yeah, me and Kate, we took a picture." I said, "Y'all took
Yes.
a picture?" I said, "No, you didn't take a picture with my friend." And he was like, "Yes, I did." So that's good. She's always, always, and I love it.
Mhm.
Like I said, that was probably Z's only friend at school, because she was gonna come up to her and get her a hug. So it was, she's always been, and I love it. She's sociable, And for
Mhm.
someone to be contained, mm-mm. She says, "Y'all not gonna be able to hold me down." No.
Right.
And I love it. I love the spunk.
Mhm.
I love it. Absolutely. And again, technology. Sometimes I think people think because I always say this ability does not mean inability,
Mhm.
and all because I may not learn in a certain way like you may learn, or you
Right.
may have to do this. I may be a whiz at the tablets,
Mhm.
but you want to take it away from me, or you want to snap
Right.
whatever you want to do. But please know that our kids are smart, our kids are sociable. Our kids like to play. Our kids
Right.
like to do some of the same things that you all do. So don't ostracize them or trying to minimize what they can do, because what it does is enable them.
Right.
And I don't need that. I remember I was told that my daughter would never be potty trained, or she didn't understand what I was saying. And I said, "Well, I don't know what you all dealing with, but up here at home, oh, she understand everything that I'm saying. She does, and so you really, if you don't have a foundation, if you don't have a support, and you're not knowledgeable about the law and what your daughter or your son can do, you would believe anything, which will
Mhm.
enable the children. And we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that.
Like this one thing I want to say that really bothered me with the school system with my daughter. They said that she would never be able to learn. She's not learning. And now, she's a junior, and I'm looking at a college for her to go to.
Come on
You know,
here. Won't he do it?
so
Oh my
so
God.
it's like if y'all can see her now, and everyone that see her now, her new school, is that Caitlin? Oh yeah, that's her. That's her. You know. But if I had to
That,
let them suppress her like they
mhm.
were, she wouldn't, she wouldn't be at it, yeah, she wouldn't. It'd be totally different.
Wow. Now, you said you are looking for colleges.
Yes,
Now,
I have two, one in Muncie and one in Union, Wisconsin.
wow. That's amazing. When you talk about encouraging, that is amazing, because what people say someone can't do, that's not the final answer.
Right.
That's not the final answer. And I hope she comes back. I should have told you to bring her on the show. You're gonna have to come back with her on there. You're gonna have to bring her
Okay.
on the show so they can meet her, because
Okay.
people need to see. People need to
Right.
see. That is so awesome. My gosh, I know you're gonna listen. That graduation party, I know it's gonna be awesome.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
so I know, and she's a junior.
Yes. Yes. She played basketball. She's on the cheer team. She's in the choir. They induct into honor society. So
That is
yes.
amazing. And it
Even
depends.
though she still has other classes, she has four general classes, and the rest of them, the other three are the special ability classes. Yes.
That is amazing. And see, like I said, that's a testimony in
Mhm.
itself. People don't know everyone's journey, don't know what you had to,
Right.
um, handle through this all the way up into her junior year. So that's definitely encouraging. And again, like I say, you all out there,
Hmm.
never give up on your kids.
Right.
I don't care what the ability is, because you never know what how they will learn. When people
Oh
say, I
yeah.
don't that how you that's terrible, never ever say they will never learn, because that's not true. You just may
Right.
not have found the way to be able to teach them. And that's
Correct.
just with any student, not just the exceptional community. That's with anybody. Maybe you don't know how to teach in the way that they can grasp it, but it doesn't mean it's an issue with them you
Hmm.
know? And so that is wonderful. My God, my hats off to you though for, not quitting and not being silent and using your voice to advocate, because even though you were advocating for your daughter, I
Right.
bet you they're going to think about when somebody else come along, cuz they going to remember, you know. And that's important. What you did for her, you did for many, because everyone doesn't have that person to advocate on behalf of them. No one to say, hey, no, you have rights. You don't have
Right.
to, that's not, no, you have options. You don't have to take that. And I'm hoping somebody out there today is listening. Like, if you having challenges with your IEP and you don't understand it, or you need some help, go to InSource, have an advocate come with you to those
Hmm.
IEP meetings, fight for what you want. Don't settle. Read the IEPs. Don't just sign them, because you don't know. You said something about being able to measure where
Right.
they are and where they're going.
Right. Because they always put, like, the state of Indiana wants you to be at 80%, but every child's not at 80%. So if you feel they're at 60%, then that goal is they 60% can be their 100%. And
Wow.
that's how you got to look at it. So when she get past that 60%, you say, okay, now we'll go up to 70%
Mm-hmm.
until we get to 80. Because 80%, you can't measure that, you
Right.
know. I mean, you can, but you're
Mhm.
not going to see the improvement because they
Right.
got them at 80%.
Right. Right. And that's good. That's really good to know. Reading and knowing, don't what I like to say, don't just try to make me feel good.
Hmm.
And I know sometimes, they want to put these numbers, um, so you won't feel like there's no hope or what have you.
Hmm.
But there's always hope.
Right.
And like you said, I need to see where they are and where they're coming to.
Right.
They won't just stay there. And then it also allows me to see what you're doing too.
Right.
I know we have to do our part at home too. I'm not saying it's all on the teachers, because we do. Teachers, my hat's off to them. They got to do this every day with multiple children, and that's a grace. That is a grace. However, I still say, making sure that you are accurate with your numbers and not just putting anything down to placate me or to
Hmm.
make me feel good. That's not helpful. And really doing what you're supposed to be doing with those IEPs. And that's everybody on there. Even knowing the different people that's a part of the IEP.
Hmm.
I remember I had one of the speech therapists had stated, well, because I was like, what is this? 5 minutes for speech? What is, of
Hmm.
course, of course. Well, what is, like, she needs more than that, but she
Yeah.
did encourage me. She said, get speech on the outside,
Hmm.
because this we only got her for 5 minutes, and it's not the same as the
Hmm.
speech where they're individually with her and they got an 30 to 45 minutes with
Right.
her. And I can appreciate that. And she was the speech uh, pathologist at the school. And I said, well, that was good to know, because I was like, well, what are you doing in 5 minutes? You probably couldn't even get her attention yet. She was probably doing her own thing first. But, 5 minutes. I
Right.
said, you know, and so really knowing the people that's on there and what are they doing? What are they
Hmm.
working on? How can you collaborate with what people are working on in
Right.
the IEP? What can you do at home? Now, like I would say, now I know my daughter,
Hmm.
she's very assertive. I'd like to
Right.
say, you know, however, but there are some things that I knew that I'm like, that's no, no. If that happened, then something occurred for it to happen, you
And
know.
you said they want you to get the resources on the outside, then make sure you tell them to get a Medicaid waiver. Because
Mhm,
when you get that
right,
waiver, you get those other extra services
true,
for the
and see,
outside.
that's another thing I said, "Now wait a minute, how is it?" And I don't know why they don't talk about,
Hmm.
beads in the school.
I don't
Uh,
know why either.
I don't
But I got
know.
the information from InSource. They the one told
Right.
me.
A parent told
Hmm.
me. A
Hmm.
parent told me, she was like, "Yeah, I got to see," and it was just like a nonchalant,
Right.
conversation, and I said, "What is that?" And I'm
Hmm.
thinking, I said, "Well, I thought it was, based on your income."
It is. It is. But when you do the interview, you give them your income, and then they'll come back and say, okay, you disqualify. But then you tell them, please go forward. And then when
Mhm.
you go forward, you still get it because she's entitled. That child is entitled to that, whether you know, male or female. They're entitled to it.
And
But
see,
you got to go forward with it though. If you quit it,
right.
then you got to start all over again.
And I'm glad I didn't,
Hmm. Right.
because I mean
Right.
that's additional services with
Right.
the services that you may already have
Hmm.
privately, or what
Right.
have you, because those services are good. And not only are they just good for when they're in school, but as
Right.
they transition out of school.
Yes.
because some want to live on their own,
Right. And it
you
has
know.
respite too for the parents. Respite.
They
So
got respite, then you learn about voc rehab, and then
mm-hmm.
all these other services that the kids can get when they get into that age range where they can
Right.
get a job,
Right.
or they can get an apartment, or they can learn how to drive. They'll have somebody work with them to get their permit. To,
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how many times they have to take it. Until they get it, they'll work with them. So these are things.
Do you know, Alexis, that if your child cannot read at the BMV, they'll read it to them and
Mm,
then tell you if it's this one that means go left or go right. And then you constantly teach them how to remember the questions and remember the action, and you can get your license.
wow. No, I did not know
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
Wow. That is
Yes.
interesting.
Yes.
Wow. And then with that and an additional voc rehab, you can't go wrong there. That's a win-win. I didn't know all the things that vocational rehab offer because my daughter was not at that point yet. So I really did not, until I started doing a little more research. I was like, oh, hmm,
It's a lot
okay.
of things that really is a lot.
They do. And again, they need to be in the system. They need to be in the school systems.
But
Have a
see,
whole
think about that, Lexi. If they put it in the school system, what we need them for? If we get
mm,
on the outside. So of course they'll give you just enough to balance both of them. But they give you all the resources from the outside, then I don't need the school anymore. All I
mm,
need for her to go there and then you can do this, but I'm gonna use the outside to actually give her that foundation because you're not giving it to her to what I'm getting in the public.
mm.
They don't tell us anything. I mean, they didn't tell me anything. I don't know. Maybe it's different now, but
Well,
it was
and I'm
like pulling teeth.
well, I know that I didn't know a lot when I first started out, but as I started doing what I'm doing, I had to
Mhm.
learn. I had to educate myself because even with guardianship, we had somebody on last week talking about guardianship.
Yeah, yeah.
And I
Go
said,
next month.
what sense does that? And you know what, Emma? When I tell you, I said, now wait a minute, let me get this straight. You mean to
Hmm.
tell me the child that I gave birth to, that me, that I have to go and give rights to my own daughter that I
Hmm.
carried for 9 months?
Yeah.
It just blew my mind.
Well, my daughter told her doctor, "I don't want my mama to be over me. Tell my daddy." But I have to do it though. I have because she'll be 18 in September. Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I wow. I can't remember though. That's why I'm like, I
Yes.
no, this
Yes.
wow.
Yep.
Jeez.
Gotta
Well,
do it.
time don't wait on nobody. I tell
Not.
you. And like I said, I that even the guardianship, I was like, are you serious?
Do it,
It
Alexa.
just
Don't wait till the last minute. Do it.
yeah. Yeah. I will not. Now I learned, honey. I'm learning. People look. I'm like, okay, all right. What else I need to do? Let me know. And then even outside of us putting someone else, maybe her
Mhm,
older brother,
mhm.
just to cover every
Right,
area,
right.
to support her, because like I said, you're right. You never know what lies ahead for our kids. And we see with yours, she is on her way to college.
Yes.
Now, how you gonna deal with that when she gone?
I just gotta just see how it does. I don't know. I gotta let her be free.
Mhm,
She's too
mhm.
out. She was like someone I can just like stay in the house. She's not like that. It's every day. It's something she wants to do. Something she wants to go somewhere. She has plans, like you said today.
She
And
has plans.
uh,
Okay. Well,
yeah,
that's good. And that's good. That's good. But you're gonna have to bring her back now so she
I
can
will.
to talk to the good people out there, because it's that is so wonderful. I didn't even know she was 17. I'm
Yes,
thinking, I don't know why, because Zia be 15. So I said 17. You about to be 18?
yes.
Girl, wow, that is amazing. But that was a good story. And like I said, you all, I hope you heard everything today, because um, if you didn't get anything, advocate.
Hmm.
What she said, advocate. Because she advocated, look where her daughter is now. You know, look where she is now. She's on her way for trying to prepare for college. Now she got to do the FAFSA. Okay. Now she got to fill out the FAFSA and do all this stuff. Got to
Right,
get stuff for the dorm. Like
right,
this is good. And like I said, without advocacy, without knowing your rights, without pushing the limit, like, okay, yeah, but there's more for her, and she's going to have everything that she's supposed to. And that is what I call advocacy on steroids. Yes, indeed. So thank
you're
you,
welcome.
Emma, for sharing. And before we leave, I just want to know if you can share something with those out there watching, especially those who are discouraged,
Mm,
because sometimes you look and you may not see progress at that moment or that time, and you're listening to all these people, what they have to say. She's still at this level. Yeah, she's doing this. She got these behaviors and all this type of stuff. Can you give a word of encouragement to those out there who may be dealing with behaviors,
right.
maybe dealing with, different things, to encourage them?
What I did, I had several individuals um, be with my daughter because I wanted to know was she really having these behaviors, so I can try to find out some type of plan what I can implement. And it didn't come back negative; it came back positive. So I just told God, I said, whatever your will is, if it's a leaf to drop when I leave out this door, that's gonna be whatever I thought about that night. That's gonna be my will.
Mm.
And I just ever since then, I'm telling you guys, I've been winning with my daughter. She's been doing it because I kept trying to find a way, my way, and scientific way, and not his way.
Ooh, okay.
That's
So it seems to me that you have a source, and it's bigger than in source. You have a source, and that's good. We talk about where your strength is, and where you get your courage, where you get everything you need, and you his will.
yes,
Indeed, his will shall be done, and it has been and
yeah.
continue to be done. So thank you for that. Thank you for sharing, Emma. I'm so glad that you joined us this evening on Guiding Lights. You are truly a guiding light. And for those out there watching, please make sure you replay, like, and share so other people can hear what was talked about tonight on Guiding Lights. We are so glad that you joined us. For those who are not familiar with me, I am Alexis Nelson. I am the founder of BEST, which is Be Exceptional Support Together. And what we do, we have awareness campaigns. We bring awareness to the community because we want everyone to know resources, how to get them, how to be supported, to be empowered. And so we bring people on from different walks of life to share their journeys so you all can be encouraged and empowered. So make sure again that you like and share. And don't forget, register for the Don't Stare, Just Care Walk. It is coming soon, May 18th. Go to the website, bestsupport.org. We want you all to come out, celebrate with us, walk. It's going to be a Hidden Lake Park in Maryville, May 18th. Save the date, 7 in the morning. It's going to be early. So come out and join us. And again, thank you all for watching. You all be blessed. Have a good night. And until next Monday, you all be well. All right. Thank
Thank
you
you. You
for
too.
joining. Thank
Bye.
you.